We have communities, particularly communities of color and disadvantaged communities all over this country who are suffering from environmental injustice. I assure you, I lived in Grosse Pointe. What happened in Flint would not have happened in Grosse Pointe. This is part of the dark underbelly of American society. The racism, the bigotry, and the entire conversation that we're having here tonight, if you think any of this wonkiness is going to deal with this dark psychic force of the collectivized hatred that this president is bringing up in this country, then I'm afraid that the Democrats are going to see some very dark days. We need to say it like it is. It's bigger than Flint. It's all over this country. It's particularly people of color. It's particularly people who do not have the money to fight back. And if the Democrats don't start saying it, then why would those people feel that they're there for us? And if those people don't feel it, they won't vote for us, and Donald Trump will win.
That's Oprah's girl.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, I'm James Hake of the Hake Report. As you all know, it is Wednesday, July 31st, 2019, the last day of White History Month, live in the 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show streams. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Jesse, for having me on your streams. That's cool. And it is, like I said, the last day of White History Month. And it's been a nice month. And this woman, Marianne Williamson, whom you just witnessed on this CNN clip, which of course they had to clip it because CNN always loves to push the fake racism narrative. She said that the Flint water crisis is part of the dark underbelly of American society. And I said that that's Oprah's girl because she's like a spiritual guru. And Oprah is like anything but Christian. So she's like for this woman. She said that Trump gutted the Clean Water Act. And then she went on to talk about the Flint water crisis, which started under Obama's watch. And Flint isn't even Obama nor Trump were probably even thinking about Flint, because Flint is run by Flint. It's not anybody else's fault but Flint, and maybe the state, I guess, or the county. But she talks about how these POC areas are suffering. POC being people of color areas are suffering disproportionately. That's because they're disproportionately run by corrupt POC people, including the commoners. Commoners meaning the people that vote for the corrupt leaders. And you think about it, who else was having a water shortage? Well, this was a crisis, shortage, whatever you want to call it. California has had a water shortage, a drought, and that's partly because Governor Brown, former Governor Brown, failed to build up the reservoirs. He could have built up the reservoirs. He didn't. So we have a drought in California. Thank you, Democrats. And then who else has a water shortage? Cape Town, South Africa. I read months back about Cape Town running out of water. And that's South Africa, run by POCs. Not run by the whites anymore. And yet they want to talk about, oh, how bad it was under apartheid, under the white people ruling, when the white people started that country. So it's just a mess. But I'm going to get to some callers. I want to tell you people, I told you so about this Sex and the City. Thank you to spoiler alert for the tip. Sex and the City writer who has no kids and regrets it. But I'll get to that in a minute. But it's a mess. And I had just talked about this on Sunday. I was on a Zoomer / millennial app primarily used by women, seemingly, or feminists, or weak people. and saw a lot of people regretting the same thing that this woman regrets. And I wonder if anybody's done any studies about it, because they tend to study things for liberal purposes, but not for truth purposes. Anyways, let me get to some calls, though, first. Fisher, out of Idaho, first-time caller. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy White History
Appreciate
Month.
you taking my call. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month to you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I got to call in on the 25th of this month, a couple days ago,
Nice.
and got a nice song from Jesse. So that was pretty awesome. It was amazing.
Right on.
Well, yeah, I was gonna try and get on your show because I obviously, as you said, I haven't called in before, and I like I really love Jesse's message and how he delivers it.
Yeah.
You know, straight from God, as it were. You know, he knows truth and speaks it. So
Yeah.
he likes to stay on topic. But what I appreciate about your show is that you're willing to, you know, get into a little bit more of the hoity-toity semantic,
Right.
snowflakey
Yeah.
stuff, you know, which
Yep.
is absolutely respectable.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
Yeah, so I don't want to I don't want to double down on necessarily the race thing right now. I like
Okay.
the biblical question this week, and I think that the topic of children is. I think that we can all agree that the topic of children, the subject of raising successive generations, you know, I think fundamentally as humans must be the quintessential topic. And so,
Yeah,
you know, in this
that's
world,
true.
everything is massively flared up, and children are the most innocent among us, you know, as well as the most prone to absorbing all of this energy and all of this, you know, I suppose a lot of dissension in the ranks of adults nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And bickering amongst each other. And my girlfriend and I are discussing, you know, a future together because we're both at a point in our lives where we realize that the importance of a family is paramount to, I would say, having a purposeful life. You know, I think that there's, like you said, that writer regretted not having a family, and I think that even Alexander the Great would say that, you know, to be a good father would probably be the most rewarding thing than even conquering an empire, you know?
Wow, I didn't know that he'd said something like that.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, wow, I didn't know he said something like that.
Oh no, he he didn't. But I'm guessing that the balance, you know, the simple balance of being a good father and a good family man would probably trump even being a terrific conqueror. You know. So
would you say yes? Children should be taught right from wrong? To answer Jesse Lee Peterson's biblical question, should children be taught right from wrong?
Well, I think it's absolutely quintessential. I think that that to live a life without purpose is probably the soul sickness that's plaguing us now, and is probably the greatest destructor to an individual. And I think to humble yourself to the point where you have a structured life well enough to take care of another human being and looking out for this new chapter in our book, this new child, providing an opportunity for a great life for that person. It does give you yourself purpose. It brings that purpose into your life, and I think that through that you live an exponentially more rewarding. You know, even just her and I've told her I would like to be a strong father figure for my children, and that her input is absolutely paramount to making that happen. And as I found someone who's a respectable girl, and I said, but you know, little things like I don't want the children to see tension between us, so we keep our calm and we discuss things in private. We come to a solution, and then you support me and you let me deliver it as.
So all
you
this,
know, and I think,
you guys have talked about all this even without ever having children or getting married?
Right.
You are an intellectual. Like hearing you talk,
Well,
like my eyes are going cross-eyed.
There's no way I'm going to get in over my head before I at least thought this through, you know.
I know, but it doesn't. I don't know if it works like that. But
Well, I guess I'm sorry. I don't mean to ramble on. My point was just that. Even testing the idea of it and talking about this and how curious children are and how but then how you take your daily dose of just compassion, letting things roll on so that you're not stressed at home. And all of this discussion was just we were wrapping our brains around it and we're saying no damn wonder it's good to raise a family because it's making you think about these.
But you said that it's quintessential to that children be taught right from wrong. But we've all been kind of taught right from wrong, and none of us are really living it. In fact, it's in a sense it's kind of good, but I feel that in my personal life I was kind of mistaught right from wrong. Even though I was taught to be nice, it didn't really. That's not really right. And then even the teaching about don't have sex out of wedlock, which Jesse pushes, and he does it in the right way. My mother pushed, and I don't think that it was quite in the right way because it was like it was turned into like this.
By right,
it was turned.
By right, Jesse delivers it balanced. He delivers it with the love that you can feel, but with an edge that you cannot deny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And I think that I guess I suppose I appreciate the advocate position. Absolutely, I think that I was assuming that if we were on the subject of should they be taught right or not, of course I was assuming that the right thing be taught as a pre-clause for sure. But I see exactly what you mean. I think that paramount to having children is making sure that you yourself have a moral compass that's situated in humility.
How long have you been with this girl, Fisher?
Oh, well, we met in high school and went our different ways for a couple of years and met up after college. After both of us were out of college, and we had jobs going and responsibility in our life, and we were.
So how long?
Kind of shedding the innocence and like the offensive state, where you're like, well, what about my dreams? And you're offended by things. We've moved on to trying to take upon our shoulders the little corner of the world that is ours, right?
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Sorry.
Well, nice to hear from you, man.
For letting me take up a couple minutes of your time today.
Yeah, take care, man. I wish you guys good luck in that. Bye. Skip, out of Augusta, Georgia. How are you doing, Skip?
Hey, James. How you doing?
Fine. Happy last day of White History Month.
Happy last day, brother.
Thanks, man. What do you think about this, our last conversation? Where I said, because you were talking about how Jesse got mad at you. You accused Jesse of getting mad at you. About
you mean when you called me a snake in the grass?
Yeah, and I called you a snake in the grass.
I didn't take it personal. I didn't take it personal, James.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been outside early this morning, just slithering around in the grass like a snake, trying to keep watch of the house and make sure that nobody break in.
So you got your own place now?
Oh, yeah. I've been here for going on 3 months now.
Okay.
Got lights and water. Living like a normal human being now.
Nice. Right on.
Hey, look at here. I tried to call Jesse earlier to get a birthday wish to my girlfriend. We lived in that old abandoned house for 2 years when I had that stroke.
She was living there with you?
Yeah, she was there. They're taking care of me the whole time, and she'd lift me out of my chair and put me in the. You remember I had a kiddie pool I took a bath in back then.
Right. How old are you? How old were you when you had the stroke?
51.
That's pretty young, man.
Yeah, I was real young. I wasn't taking care of myself, James.
Yeah, what had you been up to that brought it on, do you think?
Well, it had a lot to do with drugs and fast living
Oh, okay.
and not taking my blood pressure medicine like I should and just living in a fallen state, James.
You had blood pressure medicine that you had to take that early in life too?
Yeah, I had high blood pressure and
Yeah.
my heart was bad. I had a bad heart valve, so they had to go in there and put me a new heart valve and all in when I had the same time I had the stroke.
And you
So
have children already, right?
Those last 2 years was pretty hard. But
I bet.
Stacy's a good woman, and she stuck by me the whole time, and she took care of me until I could get where I could do a little bit on my own. And she's just a good woman, and today's her birthday, and she loves your show and Jesse's show just as much as I do.
Nice.
And I just want to see if you'd give her a happy birthday.
All right. Stacy, that's your girlfriend's name?
Stacy.
Thanks for listening, Stacy. This song is for you. Hopefully he has it. Birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Oh, man. That sounds kind of off-key. Birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Stacy and Skip, hope you guys have a happy Stacy's birthday. That's nice.
All right, thanks, James. Look at here. Don't quit your day job. Your singing's just a little bit off key.
I know. I need more practice.
Have a good one, James.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. Mike out of San Antonio, Texas. Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing? How you doing, James?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you, Mike.
Yeah. I'm glad to see you have your own show.
Yeah, it's fun.
I heard that. But this is what I think of when I think of white history.
All right.
And this is, and I mentioned this before, but I got to keep repeating this.
Yeah.
The name Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay.
I'm talking about the Cassius Clay, the politician Cassius Clay. This man gave up his family fortune. He was a slave. His family was slave owners in Kentucky. He fought against slavery, ended up getting shot and had to kill the man who shot him. 6 men attacked him, had to fight them off, so this is a tough hombre. Actually was on Abraham Lincoln's staff and basically created the Emancipation Proclamation.
Wow.
Started a school in Berea, Kentucky, and I know this personally because I went to school in Eastern Kentucky University, which is 20 miles from there, that would allow anybody who wanted to come. Had cousin Henry Clay, who was a lot more famous, gave up all of this for black folks, okay? And the smart people in Cassius Clay's lineage who were black, Cassius Clay Sr. named his son Cassius Clay, who we know renamed himself Muhammad Ali because he didn't want to take a slaver's name. How dumb is that?
Very dumb.
He took the name of a great man. This man should be in the history books, and I don't know why I can't really find much information on him, but just Google that, and you'll find everything I told you was true.
Wow.
Great man. And this is the killer part of all of this. Muhammad Ali was from Albania, who went to Egypt and restarted the slave trade.
Oh, the original.
Yes. So you went away from a man you say is a white man. You didn't want his slave name.
Yeah.
You went to another white man. Cause if you look at a picture of Muhammad Ali in Google, he is white. He's whiter than Cassius Clay, who actually restarted the slave trade.
Wow. So backwards.
People just get themselves into a frame of mind and listen to like the black Muslims or whoever and don't have any idea of history. But I wanted to just represent the Cassius Clay, who was a real alpha male to the maximum. And also what he did, he gave up everything. He gave up his family fortune and his reputation and almost had himself killed. He ended up having to have a cannon in front of his house to protect himself.
Wow.
So that's my contribution to white history. And I want everybody to look this up. You're not going to find a lot on him, you should, but you're going to find this information I just shared with you.
All right. That is a nice white history contribution. And that is
All
a
right,
shame. That is a shame on Muhammad Ali, the boxer, the real born Cassius Clay.
Yeah. His father and all of his family told him, "You crazy, not taking his name," but he didn't listen to his dad.
Yeah. Instead, he listened to Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, all them.
Oh, then, yes. How dumb.
Yeah.
All right, James.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for letting me call in.
All right. Happy White History Month. I appreciate that.
All right. We'll enjoy the last few hours of this.
Right on, man. Take care.
All right. All right. Take care.
Man. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. How are you, Maze?
Hello, James. That was so bright.
Thank you.
Although he gave up his last name, he still died, and people know who he is as Muhammad Ali.
Yep. Such a shame.
Ironic.
Yeah.
But that's not what I call. What do you mean when you said that's Oprah's girl? The lady that you played with?
Marianne Williamson, I meant that she is a frequent guest, maybe, on the Oprah Winfrey Network. She was referred to by the media, which I don't know if this is true or not, as Oprah's spiritual advisor. And I don't know if that's still the case or if she at one point was. But yeah, that's why I call her Oprah's girl.
Oh, okay. And
Yep.
so then I have another one you said.
That was Marianne Williamson that I'm referring to, the nutcase that we played at the top of the hour.
Oh, so you're saying you didn't like what she had to say?
Yeah, that's part of it, but it was totally untrue what she's talking about too.
What was untrue about it?
She said that Trump has brought a psychic darkness or something like that upon America, and that's totally false. She thinks that she's gonna make America be a great place for children to be raised when she's spouting off, "Oh, forgive us, black people. We need to apologize, white people, for the past sins, so-called, against black people." So she's
and then
a fake.
With Jason, that said he was a professor that was teaching black women, and the bright stuff that he came out with is like, who was Democrat in the Democratic Party? But they should have turned around and said, "Well, Ronald Reagan was one, so what is your response to it?" He was
Thank God Ronald Reagan
Democrat,
repented from being a Democrat.
Has been both. So what's the difference?
Where's Ronald Reagan now?
When you hear bright people speaking and things like that, that's what you. And then I have another.
That's
one.
like I don't know. That's a dumb point.
Excuse me. When you're using common sense, you see through stupidity. But if you're not using common sense and you're not smart, that's how you fall into trips like that. And then
I don't know how you can have common sense after listening to Jesse for 20, 30 years and then still talk like this.
Race riot. That's what I want to ask you about. Why do y'all keep talking about a race riot? Who is it going to be against, like the North and the South?
I don't know what you're referring to.
You keep Lockwood was talking about a race riot on Jesse yesterday.
Well, yeah, okay. So there's been a lot of riots by blacks in the last recent years, especially under Obama's watch, because he kind of encouraged the hatred towards police and whites. So there has been that, but I don't know what you're referring to other than that.
Tried to make you believe that bucket challenge that they
there's nobody trying to make me believe that.
Yeah, some people foolish enough to believe what they see, and then they indoctrinated to believe it, and then they spread it on.
Do you believe what you see?
Because you've seen that challenge when the cops are doing the dancing, and they go into different neighborhoods dancing with the kids.
I haven't really watched. I haven't kept up with that
stuff. If there had been
stuff.
any cop that they were doing something wrong, those kids would have been in fear.
Right, they should be in fear.
Spreading fake news, which y'all call it fake news.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of stupidity when you see it.
Right.
Stop indulging yourself in it, and you will see a lot of this stuff go away.
All right. Nice.
But I'm still speaking about a race riot. All I hear Caucasians are talking about a race riot. Race riot with who? Each other?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't hear whites talking about a race riot. I don't know what you're talking about.
They were talking about a race riot. Like I said, the one that was on Jesse's show the other day.
Bill Lockwood?
Yes.
I missed it.
Over what?
I don't know. I missed it, so I can't comment.
Oh, okay. Well, tell that teacher Jason he don't need.
But Bill Lockwood is generally. I'll tell you one thing. Bill Lockwood is generally right on about all this stuff.
Messed up too.
No, he is right on.
He's messed up. Who has to believe? What proof do we have? It's just like I said. For some people, just like the one that just hung up, they have a bleaching cream. So you know when you say he black, he need cream. It's when I hear them conservative white people talking against themselves. I said they need
that's
cream.
dumb.
And it's called bleaching cream.
That's dumb. He's not
and
talking.
The heart that they
You're
have.
talking about Mike from San Antonio, who gave us the White History Month lesson about Cassius Clay.
I just gave
he didn't say one thing about. He didn't say.
Muhammad Ali too.
He didn't say one thing against himself.
Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay.
Muhammad Ali is not Mike from San Antonio, thank God.
And that's how people know him.
Muhammad Ali is not Mike from San Antonio, thank God.
No. I'm glad he wasn't Mike from San Antonio.
I know, me too.
Mike from San Antonio don't have the guts.
Mike from San Antonio has sense. Muhammad Ali was an idiot.
And you know why they was upset with
He
Muhammad
abandoned
Ali?
his own. He abandoned his own father's name.
Not bothering him. That's why they were upset with Cassius Clay. He would not go to war and fight people that was not bothering him, and that's what's wrong with people now. Want to go bother people that's not bothering them.
So you're defending the slave masters? Is that what you're doing? You're defending the slave masters because the slave masters weren't bothering anybody?
Oh, we don't want to talk about slave masters and all of that because they were having fun.
I don't mind.
With the business side, just like I told you the last time I talked to you.
Huh?
They was having fun. That's how we got the biracial kids.
Right.
They didn't hate them.
All right, Mace.
They hated them.
Yeah.
But they were in love with them.
Okay. Take care.
And some of them still are.
Yeah.
But
that was another thing from. So I read the book The Antidote by Jesse Lee Peterson, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. And I have told this before, but Cassius Clay or Malcolm X, one of those guys in this book that I read it a few years ago. In this book, according to the book, which it is cited, I believe it was Malcolm X or Cassius Clay, meaning Muhammad Ali, lied and said that their blood came from rape, because this is what Mays is falsely accusing the slave owners of rape.
How we can tell
my blood came from rape is what they said. If I have any white blood in me, it came from rape. That's what they said, right? But it didn't. It turns out it wasn't even true. They were descended from. I'm going to put her on hold. They were descended from a Irish, open-minded, interracial Irishman with a black free woman. So it wasn't true. It wasn't rape. So they just make stuff up without even knowing it, and then they're denigrating their own ancestors. Talk about trashing yourself, right? Denigrating your own white ancestors, because that's how badly you hate white people. Mixed people are a mess. Well, in this case, these people particularly. Oh shoot, Maze.
Not a black woman, and they gave
was still
that
talking.
they had that passed as white. And they gave them property, but the ones that didn't pass, that looked more like their mother, they didn't give them anything.
That's fine.
But it was sisters and brothers.
That's
and
the past.
They came together. You see,
that's the way that the ball bounced back then. Gotta go, Mace.
Y'all lies tell y'all story.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Mace.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. Mike out of San Diego, California. How are you doing?
So what's up, James? This is Maze again. I'm calling back at you. This is Maze. I just want to tell you, you're ignorant, stupid,
nice.
Trash.
Nice to hear from you, Maze. Mike.
Hey, James, dude, that lady's a trip, man.
Yeah. And she's been following, she's a fan of Jesse and me. My favorite caller.
What?
But she's a fan of Jesse's.
Yeah,
but she's been following Jesse for decades, longer than I have.
So
I remember
funny,
being a listener.
She knows
crazy.
Everything, right? She just knows everything. Everybody else is stupid.
Brain power.
Brain power. Brain power. That's awesome, dude. I was an EMT for like 4 years. Right after high school, I thought I wanted to do that as a career.
Okay. That means like ambulance worker.
Yeah, exactly. I drove an ambulance, worked
nice.
as a paramedic, fire department.
Okay.
I took the first job that they had open at the company, and it was in downtown Compton.
Wow.
I worked at the station at Rosecrans and Wilmington, and Martin Luther King was my main hospital. I went in Linwood and Watts, and all over that area.
How old were you at that time?
I was 18 to 22.
Had you been exposed to blacks that much before that?
Like 0.
Okay.
I was from a rural. I grew up on a dirt road, bro, out in like Riverside County.
Yeah.
So I was in the rural area, on a dirt road. I mean, there was Mexicans. Actually, most of my school was Mexicans. We were kind of like a poor area.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just white culture, but my family's all white. I went to a white church. I was homeschooled a lot.
Yeah.
I was completely in my own little bubble of sheltered Christianity and whiteness.
Okay.
And then I went to Compton after high school, and it blew my mind, dude. I learned so much there about like what's going on.
I would imagine that you saw a lot of this. This was the early 2000s.
Yeah, like 2001 to 2004 or 5.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, dude, drive-bys, stabbings, crack whores giving birth to babies in their homes, like their 12th and 13th and 15th baby.
Wow.
Overdoses, you name it, dude. Insane stuff, just constant. Yeah, it was like the Wild West. People riding like dirt bikes down the street. They go in people's homes. They don't have carpet on the floor. They don't have drywall on their walls. They're just like living in like a shack. But they have a big old 52-inch TV that they rented from the Rent-A-Center. Like, it's just weird,
right.
man. Like
Priorities. Any regrets?
Priorities, for sure. Oh, they got 22-inch rims on their car and stuff. But like,
you have any regrets of doing that?
Well, I guess the regret is like I ended up paying for that over the following years. I mean, it traumatized me, bro. Like, I wasn't ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like kicked me into manhood, but not in a real good way. It was like if I had gone to war or something.
Yeah, and hadn't been prepared with the mental toughness.
I was not prepared for that. I just did not know what I was getting into, and I didn't know how much it was hurting me either. Like, I just became real emotionally shut down, and I ended up becoming kind of like irritable and reactive, and all sorts of stuff happened that I ended up working that out over the following 10 years.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the big regret. And also, it was not the right job for me. I didn't know who I was yet. I was just
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a weird follow to Maze. She's a trip. Hey, you know what? I told the producer I wanted to ask you about what's your definition of whiteness, like of white people?
Yeah. That's a good question. Your phone is kind of rough.
Struggling with it.
Your phone's rough right now.
How about now? I just walked to a better spot.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's about the same. So you want me to tell you what's my definition of whiteness?
Yeah, and like I heard Jesse struggling with, are Italians white?
Right.
And if we're saying like white people built America, like, who are we talking about when we say white people? Like, what is that?
Yeah. Mike,
I have my ideas about it I'd like to share, but what do you think?
Well, I think that, I don't really think about it that much, but I don't tend to count white Hispanics, meaning these, people that are most Hispanics are considered white. I don't consider them white, and they don't consider themselves white either. And so I guess basically the white non-Hispanics, I do similarly struggle with the Italian thing, because Italians and even actually Irish, according to the liberal history that I've learned on Twitter from Black Twitter, that Italians weren't accepted because they were Catholic and they were criminal, a lot of them. And then the Irish too were not accepted because they were Catholic and a lot of them were lower class or criminal or whatever. And so I think of it as, I like the waspy stuff, like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I heard that a lot when I was in high school learning this history stuff. And so, yeah, but I don't really have a big opinion about it because I'm really not that into the white thing. I just have, there's different kinds of white people. And so that's why I push those differences sometimes.
It seems like to me, like Jesse came up with White History Month, and it seems like his main agenda, if there is one, my interpretation, sort of seems like to me after listening to him, and I'm with it. It's cool. He's basically kind of like saying, it's almost like he's saying non-black people. If you're not black, if you're not colored, you're white. And white people built America, and I'm with it to a certain degree, but he's kind of right. And where I think he's wrong is, it's like this country was actually founded by a specific group of people that happened to be white, But not all white people are the same as that group of people who made this country.
True. Yeah, it was British.
It was like Western, like it was the British. Yeah, Western, Northern, like British people who grew up completely separate. It's
who grew up here.
It's an island. Well, the Britain is an island, so they were separate from all the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
Those British developed a culture that was super different than anything the world's ever seen.
Yeah.
And they brought that culture here, and then some of them rebelled against Britain, started a new colony that was separated. But that's really where our country comes from. It's not just from white people; it's from British people.
Right. Yeah.
And then everybody else that came here afterward is an immigrant. And the Irish were close to British, because Ireland and Britain are basically connected. And but they had like a different. They were Catholic and they're peasants.
Yeah.
But like the Italians are like so far from British people, it's not even funny. It's almost like Chinese and Japanese, but they're not the same at all.
Yep.
They might have like similar features or similar color skin, but they're not at all the same people.
Yeah.
Or like Filipinos or something. It's like different from Chinese. It's like so different.
Yeah,
Same way, so
I think that Jesse's not into the fine points and the nitty gritty, like the details. He's not a details guy. He's a big picture guy, and the big picture is whites are under attack, and white history is under attack, and that's why we need to bring back White History Month.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing, you know what? Real quick, I want to tell you too. Jesse helped me with this when I first came in there. I was getting freaked out about the Jews.
Yeah.
And speaking of white people who aren't white, like Jews are also like
right. A lot of them don't consider themselves white, or they do, or
Right.
I've noticed
or when
that.
they do something good, they're like, "Look, I'm a Jew and I did it for the Jews." And if they do something bad, they're like, "Well, I'm white."
Right. Yeah.
It's funny, but so those are also not white people that look white. I mean, like people think like Chuck Schumer or Dianne Feinstein or something. They're like, "Oh, that's a white person in government."
Yeah.
That's a Jew. That's not a white person.
You'll notice that when people attack them, they'll attack them on their whiteness. Like the mainstream people, like the blacks, anybody who calls them racist, it's always under their whiteness. And it's the same thing you notice with the FBI stats too. The FBI stats, the perpetrators of white Hispanics committing crimes, they're counted as white perpetrators. But when they're victims, they're Hispanics.
Yeah.
So it's all very convenient.
You're right.
It's all very convenient and anti-white. Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of the Jews, I was getting angry at the Jews when I started finding out what they've been doing to America.
Yeah.
But Jesse was right. We can't fight even our enemies with hatred or anger. We have to love them, and so realize instead of being angry at the Jews, I have to forgive the Jews for what's going on. And that's where I'm at with it. But instead of blaming them, I've heard you call certain people Jew blamers.
Yeah, I tend to like that word. It's better because they can see it more easily than they can see their hatred, because people hate but don't realize that they hate. But if you catch them blaming, it's maybe a little easier for the intellectuals to realize that that's what they're doing.
Oh, that's a really good term, because we're blaming them. But really, it's our own errors, like our own weakness, that has allowed them to do what they've done to us.
Yeah.
Like our own, because we've been, let's say, just like, I don't know, it's our own greed sometimes that they've like, oh, so then they can sort of like seduce us with money.
Right.
Or it's our own lust that then they can take over our families and ruin our families with pornography. Or it's our own weakness, and then they can come in and ruin our culture with propaganda. And it's like, well, we weren't standing guard, and we weren't living righteously, so that's why these foreigners from another country and from other lands have come here, and they've pretty much like subverted our whole government.
Right.
It's our fault.
Yep, it's a lot like the blacks blaming the CIA for bringing drugs into their community, which whether they did or not, it's really kind of irrelevant, because the blacks took the drugs and started selling and participating in it. And they blame the government for taking the fathers out of the home. Yes, the government's wrong for tempting the blacks in that way, but you don't accept it. You don't have to accept it. And so it's crazy.
That's right. We've been accepting it and being kind of weak, and we've been like too nice. I think that's one of our biggest sins. We're just like so we just want to be nice to everybody and pretend like the world is like this safe, nice place that we can all just get along in. And that's a lie, man. We have to get strong, and we have to stand up to things that are wrong, even if it means force.
It's just like your family, how you grew up, is a lot how I grew up with this nice Christian family, and then we go out into the corrupt world, and it just wipes us out. And because we're not prepared.
Yeah.
So
right. I grew up in a fake bubble created by my mother.
Yep. Man.
Yeah, man. All right, well, that's it. I'll let you go. I know you got more callers, man.
All right, appreciate it, Mike. Take care.
Hey, buddy.
All right. George, first-time caller out of New York. How are you, George?
I'm good. I'm actually probably my third time.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Happy White History Month.
Thank you, man.
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Do you think, well, let me say, can you have morality without religion?
I don't know. Because I think that you can't have it without God, and I think that God has a true religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that you can, in the Bible, it talks about how people who never heard about Christ or something like that followed the law of their hearts and there are some decent people who didn't ever hear it, and God is everywhere, and he wrote his law in supposedly everybody's hearts, right? So if they're following that law, then they're following it without knowing the name of the religion.
So well, I mean, maybe that does kind of make sense, because I assume that you don't necessarily need to be in a or participate in a particular religion, because I'm assuming God is not limited to religion. I mean, perhaps they're not even the same thing, right? I mean, they're separate, right?
Well, there's religion. The word religion gets tossed around, and I think there is a true religion, and the Bible does make mention of it. And people like to say, "Oh, it's not a religion; it's a relationship," and I hate that. Makes my eyes
roll. As well, yeah. What do you think about that when people make that statement?
I don't like it, because most of those people are not living it anyways. It's just they're trying to react, and I understand it, to the fact that people have been mistaught religion so that they're traumatized by it. There's a lot of atheists who refer to themselves as recovering Catholics, and they didn't like the guilt. They didn't like dealing with the false guilt that was pushed on them all the time or whatever. And so they turn, they go the opposite extreme and throw out the baby with the bathwater. So isn't like Christianity, isn't that having a direct relationship with God? Isn't that what Christianity I suppose, but isn't every religion supposed to be something like that, along those lines? I mean, it's just I don't like they use that. They use that to make it more emotional and feel good and make him feel like you're like Jesus is your boyfriend or something. And so I just don't like that stuff.
As far as I know, I mean, I'm kind of ignorant to all that, but it's I think the Christianity specifically, as far as I know, it's probably the only religion that is, because I think not every religion, but most religions talk about having a relationship with God, but also the whole thing about, what is it, like getting into heaven, right? Like most religions are like when you die, like what happens to you after you die and so forth.
Some of them are,
as far as I know, Christianity is the only one that's not works-based. In other words, you can't necessarily earn your way into heaven. You know how some religions like, well, you can do some bad stuff, but the good outweighs the bad. Then you're in. Well, maybe you're in. It's a chance. You're not sure, right? But Christianity is like, actually, you really can't do anything to get in because you have sin. You can't really bribe your way. So you just have to ask for forgiveness, and then He will give you, forgiveness. But it's more like it's what I heard. It's like a free gift. It's like He's giving you the free pass because you asked for it, right? It's like
What are you?
mercy,
What are
right?
you, George?
I wouldn't. I would say probably Christian, but again, I wouldn't subscribe to a religion particularly. I was raised initially Catholic for many years initially, and I fell away from God completely because there's so much hypocrisy. I mean, almost everywhere, but
Right.
Catholicism for me, there was like a lot of hypocrisy. I was like, I can't stand this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I got out of it, and so I understand why there's a lot of former Catholics turn atheists. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Totally.
But like I said, it's I think I'm more interested in. I feel like biblically, like I said, I look at some stuff. I mean, I must admit, I don't particularly enjoy reading. I just don't
Right.
like it. I feel like I'm slowly dying when I do that. But if it's really compelling, I'll do it. But I noticed that Bible does have these sort of long-lasting messages about the human condition they seem to be, pretty much continuing still even today.
Yeah,
about right
I do.
and wrong.
I do notice that.
And that, right.
That
and
people
that's what attracts
were
me.
lost then and they're lost today, and they have like ups and
Right.
downs morally. Yep.
Right. So that's what attracts me to that. It has a lot to do with, like fashions changes, music changes, a lot of things changes, but the human condition is and forever will be the same. And so we kind of have to understand that, and so
Yeah.
I notice there's just a lot of confusion today. And like I said, I mean, I just think a lot of these issues is just, I feel like people forgot personal accountability.
Yeah.
People don't want that. It's like if you did something, and personal accountability, and there is such a thing as, what's this word I'm looking for? There's such a thing as consequence. You do something, there's a consequence. Like, I think earlier today you reported about the woman who created the Sex and the City.
Yes. Let's show that. Yeah, we have. I have the. I'm just showing the. We're just going to be showing the headline of this woman, Sex and the City writer,
So
Candace
right.
Bushnell,
And
age
right.
60,
And so-
admits she regrets
right.
choosing a career over having children, and now she is truly alone. And the TV series based on a writer who chooses independence over motherhood. So
right.
that's that for you.
Right. And I remember that the time
And
I
that's
was in
widespread
college right
now.
around that time.
That's widespread
What was
now. This type of regret and this type of women obviously just setting themselves up to be miserable.
It's it was a lifestyle that was kind of, I mean, the point is I remember I was in college. It was like my first year in college, and that show was like kind of the thing.
Me too.
And it was amazing. It was amazing how many women just ran to this fantasy of recklessness, and and they forgot that you have to underline the word. It's not reality. It's a fantasy. There are consequences to everything you do.
Yeah.
It's like you jump off the roof, you're going to go splat. I mean, you're not just going to fly away. There's a consequence.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I was just amazed how a lot of women, they just sort of gravitated to this sort of like, oh, I could just do what I want. And magically in 30 years, I'm going to find suddenly out of the blue, Mr. Right's going to come and everything will be just as I wanted it. No.
It's so departed from reality, yet they think most of these people are educated. George, man, I got to go. I appreciate their call.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Ben, out of Oregon, first-time caller. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's up, James?
Hey, nice to hear from you.
So I had a question. I've been thinking lately about what Jesse preaches about dating and waiting till marriage to have sex.
Yeah.
And that just seems like impossible, especially like for me, like living in a big city. Like,
Why?
I don't know anybody who like goes along with that, or haven't seen anybody that does.
I think if you were, because it takes two to tango, right? If you enforce it, you'll find somebody who respects it. Because it's up to you to enforce that rule on yourself and whoever you're dating, right? So you enforce it, you'll find a woman who respects it. Some of them will pretend to respect it, and some of them might really respect it.
Yeah, I don't know how that would go. I've never tried it, but all the women I know, I don't think they'd be up for that.
Yeah, just show them this story about this Sex in the City woman and say, this is going to be you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these women are totally setting themselves up for misery. They're jealous of the bad behavior of men, thinking that that's gonna make them happier or something. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up with that too. My mom was letting my sister's boyfriend sleep over at the house at like
Wow.
14 years old. Just like disgusting stuff like that.
Was your mother
And,
Christian?
What'd you say?
Was she Christian at that point, your mother?
No.
Oh, okay. Man. But even non-Christians had this like understood rule that it's not good to do that. But
No, it's not.
yeah.
And my sister's just going to suffer for it.
Yeah. Man, what a mess.
Yeah. How do you like overcome that, like the urge to have sex and like because it's been really difficult for me to overcome that. That's
a good question, man. I think that, I'm not a good person to ask because I never really fell into that because it was a block in my mind that I would not go past that. And so I didn't really get into that many situations where there was an opportunity, to be honest. So, ask Jesse.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I will.
You can call him for counseling if you like. Have you heard of the silent prayer?
Yeah, I've been doing that lately.
Okay.
And I like it better than meditation. I really like it.
Good. Yeah. Silentprayer.video. It's also on the rebuildingtheman.com/church page for those who are listening. So yeah, man. We put out an excerpt from Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel just yesterday, and he talked about how the part of the best thing is not to judge yourself because you're going to fall into stuff that you believe to be wrong, and this is part of that. Should children be taught right from wrong, right? That you're taught that this is wrong, so you start to judge yourself for it when you do it, because now you're taught that it's wrong, but you're still falling into it, and that's just keeping everything alive. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot. I'd just get like really disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
And I'd say like, okay, I'm never gonna do this again. And then like the next day, I'd be doing it, and it just get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you talking about the what premiered yesterday on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, with the 3 black guys talking about business?
No, I'm referring to on Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel, different from the Jesse Lee Peterson channel. His church channel. You watch his church channel?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
yesterday I watched this video that premiered. I forget which channel of Jesse's it was, but it was really mind blowing hearing Jesse looked like he was like 40. Just hearing 3 black guys talk about like opening businesses and stuff.
Yeah, we premiered part 1 2 days ago, part 2 yesterday, and part 3 will go up tonight at 5 p.m. Skip the Dem debate and watch that. But if you it was something in church where Joel and I were on stage. I was the darkness, Joel was the light. Jesse stood in front of the light and he could see his way. But then the moment he became angry or believed a thought, he stepped behind into the darkness, and all he could see was me, which is darkness. And so he couldn't see his way. And that's what happens when according to Jesse, when you believe thoughts, make a judgment, or become angry. Because you're not living by the light of God, of sticking with what you know. All right, Ben. Nice to hear from you, man. Happy White History Month, by the way.
Yeah, happy White History Month, last day.
Nice. Us white people have to come out of our fallen state.
We do.
Bad. All right, take care, Ben.
All right, see you.
Bye. Gabrielle, I think, out of Pasadena, first-time caller. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, that's correct.
Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, and I had a question, and the caller that was speaking right when I called was kind of addressing the similar issue of, if we have White History Month, what is it exactly? Who are the white people that you're talking about? Because I listened to Jesse earlier, and he was kind of unsure who white people are.
No,
So
he was just unsure. He wasn't.
What is the history exactly
Hey,
that's being celebrated?
He's not an exact type of a person, so just don't worry about exact stuff. When you get worried about exact stuff, then you're gonna lose the point. The point is just to acknowledge and appreciate and celebrate white people, past and present, what aspects of them are to celebrate, and just open your eyes to the attacks on white people. There is a lot of blurry areas, such as Italians, because they sometimes are mixed with Moors, or they have a different culture from, the British white people or the American white people. So that's the only blurry area, but who cares about the blurry areas? The point, you don't want to miss the point, and the point is we need White History Month.
Well, if the point is that you kind of need to know what it is that you're talking about.
No, you don't. No, that's not true. Because you already, hold on, Gabrielle.
You saying that it's blurry.
You already kind of know who we're talking about when we say white people. So you don't have to kind of know whether the Italians are white or not. But because you already know that white people founded the country by creating the 4th of July and fighting the Revolutionary War and then fighting the Civil War and all of that stuff.
And a lot of people fought those wars that weren't white.
And those people aren't under attack. The white people are. Those people are not being maligned. The white people are.
Well, I mean, but is it...
Are you white? Are you white or are you black?
I'm Italian.
Oh, you are? So
yeah.
What, are you white?
I'm Italian.
Aha. Are you white?
I think I'm Italian. So you can ask me 17 times, I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah. So you're not white?
Right.
You're not white?
I'm Italian.
All right. This is what you get. Right. So, all right, cool. No, but when they trash, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold. Gabrielle, you have to listen. When they trash Christopher Columbus, they don't trash him as an Italian. They trash him as a white man. Did you notice that? Just like when a Jew gets in trouble, he's trashed as a white man. When a white Hispanic gets in trouble, he's trashed as a white man. So, Gabrielle, if you get in trouble, you're going to be trashed as a white woman.
Right, but is that history?
Yeah, it'll become history, and then you'll be history. Yep.
Yeah, so, because I was just a little bit offended when there was a discussion about whether Italian people are white.
Yeah, why were you offended? Because you didn't clarify it at all when you called in and said that you're Italian.
I grew up as an Italian Catholic.
Right.
And that is my identity.
Were you discriminated against as an Italian Catholic in America?
No.
Okay.
I mean, but I know that Italians have been discriminated against. I'm younger than that.
Were you ever called white by people?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Because you'll notice, like even Chinese people will sometimes be called white by blacks. It's kind of funny. But yeah, don't be offended. Jesse didn't mean any harm by it. And basically that other guy that was calling was he doesn't have any love for Italians either. He was just using the Italian question, the IQ, to attack Jesse, to bash Jesse, and to trash the notion of White History Month. He black, but he's like that's a nasty kind of a black. It's like intellectual
Right, but
who's hung up on nothing that's important.
It just seems to me that at this stage of the game, you know, we're all kind of Americans. Italians,
Yeah.
Irish,
Right.
WASP.
Mm-hmm. You said wasps.
So I mean, so is it American history?
No, it's
that we're talking about.
Well, it's American history is white history because the whites were the bulk of the people that were involved in the founding of the country, and Italians do count as whites when they're attacked. So we let you guys into our group when you're attacked. So
But not when we're attacked.
When you're attacked, yes, when you're attacked. If you're not attacked, you're the Italian stallion.
All right then.
Yeah, because you don't need whites to stand with you. All right, Gabrielle. I hope that clears it up. Hope you're not offended anymore.
Yeah, it was a little bit offensive.
Yeah, but you shouldn't take it that way from Jesse. He never means anything offensively.
All right, well, let me fix you some lasagna.
All right. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
I'll come out to Pasadena and get it.
Okay.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Nice to hear from you.
Bye.
And happy White History Month, and tomorrow will be Men's History Month.
All right, and when is Italian History Month?
Italian counts as white because White History Month is a result of the attack on whites.
Okay.
So white and Italian.
Well, I'm going to start Italian History Month.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Thanks again, Gabrielle. Take care. Derek, I'm sorry we're way over time. And all the other callers, I can't get to you guys, but I will be back tomorrow for Thursday show. And make sure you tune in tonight. Jesse Lee Peterson. It will be the fourth, part 4, no part 3, because we had to skip part 3. There was no part 3. Part 4 episode of the entrepreneurship for blacks, which is something that all races can really benefit from. Entrepreneurship. It's a nice thing. So check that out. That's going to be up 5 p.m. tonight, Jesse Lee Peterson channel. Men's Forum tomorrow. It's like the best, like the highlight meeting of the month, although the church services are all excellent. And next week, we do have the Men's History Month free speech forum. All right, guys, take care.
Yeah.